The autoimmune family, you're not going to want to miss today's episode because we're welcoming not one, but two special guests today. First, we have registered dietitian and nutritionist Chloe. She is the heart and soul behind Riverside Nutrition. Chloe specializes in family nutrition and understands the unique challenges of maintaining a healthy lifestyle with hectic schedules, which we all can relate to. And joining Chloe and me is Cristelle. She has a master's in nutrition and is currently finishing up her dietetic internship at the Massachusetts General Hospital to become an RD. Chloe and Cristelle, we're excited to have you here and dive into not only what we should be eating, but when and how we should be approaching diet and nutrition. So thanks so much for joining me today.
Thanks so much.
With autoimmune disease or just
Absolutely.
in
And, I
general,
think
where do we
a
even
great place to
begin
start
to
is something
unpack
that
this
you just
kind of
alluded to is
intense,
that,
which sometimes can
and
be
whether you're suffering
overwhelming
from an
topic for
autoimmune
people?
condition or not, with nutrition, foods may work really well for you, Karen, but maybe for Cristelle, they don't work as well. And so a lot of nutrition is figuring out how your body re-enters colonial, and Cristelle's more of a bungalow chick, and that doesn't matter. And who are we to? And so one of the things that I'm really passionate about in my practice is making sure that we are setting all of our clients up for success, just to have that healthy foundation. And, starting with, and this is one of the first things that we do work on in the practice, is when you're eating and looking at the habits around meal timing. You said it yourself, one of the things that a lot of people with autoimmune disorder suffer from is that exhaustion and that fatigue. And one of the things that we know about our digestion is it can be really hard on it if we're constantly digesting food, if we're constantly snacking or constantly putting food in our body or eating every couple of hours. Our digestive system, I would recommend, is that we're balancing our meals. Every meal have a combination of a protein, a healthy fat, and a fiber, because we know that that'll keep us satiated and help with blood sugar control. But that we're really trying to space our meals out every 3 to 4 hours. So that looks like a breakfast, a lunch, all frequent meals throughout the day, unless, of course, there's certain medical conditions that warrant it. I'm thinking issues. I would definitely recommend working on balancing the meals, but definitely spacing them out to give your digestive system a chance to break things down and your blood sugar a chance to go back to normal. Yeah, I do think, and again, going back to there's no one size fits all, there are certain people that, no matter how hard they try, just aren't breakfast people. It's just not a meal that they can get behind. I'm not one of those people. I am the meanest, angriest, non-functioning human being if I don't eat within an hour and a half of waking up. But if we are looking at fatigue and energy, one of the things we want to make sure is that we're not eating all the time, but that also we are eating enough, because that's another culprit, right? I know that there is some research out there on intermittent fasting, but I think this is a great time to kind of bring that up.
Okay, so you are recommending, because there was a period where it's like, okay, you should be eating 5 small meals a day. And there's also some at least I'm confused about breakfast in general and fasting. So you do think, though, it's important to hit those 3 meals a day, 3 to 4 hours apart? Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much for turning it over to me. So, most of the current evidence regarding autoimmune diseases and intermittent fasting come from animal studies or short term human studies. So, more research is really needed to fully understand the long term effects and practical applications of intermittent fasting in humans with autoimmune
Intermittent
conditions.
fasting, like what
But
was
from
your
the studies that
driving
are out
reason for
there, we
that?
do see several benefits of intermittent fasting. So, this includes increased gut health, reduction of the inflammatory response, and also metabolic benefits. So, intermittent fasting can alter the gut microbiome, which can reduce inflammatory immune responses by altering the type of bacteria that's found in the gut. So, one study has showed that multiple sclerosis relapse patients, intermittent fasting for only 15 days induced changes in leptin levels and gut microbiota. Another study showed that intermittent fasting can decrease the production of pro inflammatory cytokines and increase the level of anti inflammatory cytokines. So, this overall, again, reduces inflammation. Intermittent fasting can also lead to improvement in metabolic health by increasing insulin sensitivity and reducing blood sugar
Yeah, and
levels. So, this
the
may
thing is
indirectly
with intermittent
benefit
fasting is there's
individuals with
no
autoimmune diseases by again
one
reducing the
right
overall
way.
inflammation as
There's
well.
a lot of different types out
Although,
there.
And
The most
yeah,
popular right
sorry.
now is the
I was just going to say,
16-8
so I think
method where
that
you're
seems to
fasting for
go back
16
to what you
hours and
were saying
eating in a day
earlier,
a week,
Chloe, that
or
like
they eat
our
quote
bodies
unquote
just need
normally
time to
5
kind of
days a week and then
process
2
what's
days a week.
already in our system. It's like we just can't be continuing to feel it. But I didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead, Crystal.
So, although there is promising evidence regarding the benefits of intermittent fasting, it is important to note that muscle mass can be lost if it is not properly maintained. So, individuals with autoimmune diseases who intermittently fast should regularly engage in strength training and exercise, as well as consult a registered dietitian before starting. So, it's really important to ensure that during non fasting periods, enough calories and protein is consumed to avoid the muscle and energy loss. So, with the help of a registered dietitian, an intermittent fasting plan can be completely individualized to tailor someone's specific needs. But before recommending intermittent fasting to anyone, I would want to make sure that their diet is cleaned up and they have a good foundation of a healthy and balanced diet first.
So what does that look like if someone does? Because I definitely have um, gotten into intermittent fasting, but I'm not sure what I always eat as many of these whole foods as possible, but the whole protein aspect of it is it's all just kind of confusing. So what should I be eating when I am eating? Yeah, so I'm continuously trying to optimize my health, right? And nutrition is a huge part of that. I will say changing my diet has probably had, if I'm gonna single-handedly call out something, that's probably been the biggest area where I have seen a dramatic impact in how I feel. Symptoms reduction, but also more energy and everything. Severe inflammation for many years that caused a lot of joint pain. And I was going to a pain clinic I had a wonderful nurse practitioner, and she's like, have you ever thought about or tried cutting out gluten or dairy? And I was like, well, I love cheese, so no, but tell me more. And then from there, I've just evolved and have been very interested. And so there's, as you guys know, it's so on trend right now, this intermittent fasting. So I'm really just trying to learn more about like how it can help me. And then I saw that there was benefits specifically within the autoimmune space. So I've been dabbling in it, but that's it. I've been dabbling. So I don't know kind of the best way to go about any of this. Yeah. Oh, very- I was wondering because I did read like 12 hours is the minimum that your body needs to go through that whole process. Is that accurate? Okay, so 12 is the minimum, and I know there's not a one size fits all, but is there even longer than that that could be more beneficial? Yeah. Ow. Yeah, I love how you bring up just what are your goals? Is it more energy? Are you trying to, for my goals previously were to reduce my joint pain and inflammation, but now I'm in a place where it's like, oh, energy would be an easy way to give me that feedback if it's working or not. Because it's like there's so many trackers and whatnot out there that I'm like, how do I know if this is actually working or not? Well, I know based on how I feel, and it's just a matter of thinking about it that way. Yeah. So can we hang on that protein topic for just one more clip? Because I'm curious, how should we be getting our protein? Like, what does that look like? For me personally, I just naturally am just not a big meat eater. And I've heard different kind of advice on protein powder. So I don't even know how I should be getting this. Right. Okay. Me too. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So that's I appreciate your perspective. You're speaking to is this middle ground is we don't need to only be eating vegetables 100% of the time, but there's definitely obviously work that we can do to improve our nutrition and focusing on the individual in the lab. It's like we can really optimize based on you personally versus this kind of one fit size fits all approach with like the AIP diet. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's easy. Okay. That's such an important point to bring up because we can have so much, whether it's guilt or like shame and not being able or feeling like we can't fully accomplish that, but it's what works for you situation. The other thing I wanted to mention, people's busy, hectic schedules. A lot of our audience is mid 20s and they're in school and they're starting their first jobs and navigating relationships. So adding that whole meal prep work on top of their busy schedules can feel very overwhelming. But to your point, I think just slowly trying to incorporate or figure out ways to prep more at home or cook more at home can totally help. Have you seen do you have any ideas or suggestions for people and how they can do that? Yeah. Yeah. You definitely are on point because I literally have a rotisserie chicken in my fridge right now that we put on salads, trying to get that protein. And that was one of the easiest things because then you're not even cooking it, but it's readily available. It's healthy, good. The other thing that you mentioned smoothies a couple times. I'm obsessed with smoothies. I have two small boys and we call them Ninja Turtle smoothies. And that's a good way to get them to eat it. Yeah, they love it. But we used to have a big blender and that even ended up it was annoying to clean. Like I just hated dealing with it. But we switched to a single serve blender and that has been the easiest thing to quick throw the stuff in and you take it and go. So if anyone's struggling on time, I would say those single serve blenders are amazing and really easy. Yeah. Just especially when all this it can feel so overwhelming, but making those small tweaks can make all the difference. I've read that you actually tend to drink more if you drink out of a straw than versus just so it's like, oh, it's just one small tweak where it doesn't really affect me, but it definitely helps, you know? Yeah. So, what else should people be? Is there anything we haven't touched? I know there's a lot because we haven't hardly talked about pooping, but as far as actual food and intake, is there anything else we should be thinking about for especially for those of us with autoimmune conditions and how nutrition can affect our health so much? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Mhm. I love it. And within this last few minutes, you had touched on how you as a dietitian help people. Tips, help them figure out their lifestyle and what works for them. If we're working with you, how long is this? How often am I meeting with you? Like, what are the logistics of working with a dietitian? Yeah, absolutely. Well, and especially when you talk about taking small steps and working through how to actually make this a part of your everyday life, it makes sense that that's going to take more time. And I think it also helps take away the overwhelming factor because you know you're going to be in this for a few months and working through versus just overhauling everything at once and then working with the dietitian to keep you accountable. It's more of a partnership. Chloe and Cristelle, thank you so much for being here today. It was amazing.